morning, students. Our today's topic is flow of energy in the ecosystem. Regarding energy, the ecosystem, it shows unidirectional flow of energy, that is from the sun to the plants to the animals and back. So, all organisms, they need energy to perform the essential functions such as maintenance, growth, repair, movement, locomotion, and reproduction. All of these processes, they require energy expenditure. The ultimate source of energy for all ecosystem is the sun. The solar energy is captured by the green plants, that is the primary producers or the autotrophs, and transformed into the chemical energy and brought into the glucose as the potential energy during the process of photosynthesis. In this, they store the energy, and the other organisms, they take the energy and pass it further to the other organism in the form of food. During this process, a reasonable proportion of energy is lost out of the living system. The whole process is called the flow of energy in the ecosystem. It is the amount of energy that is received and transferred from organism to organism in an ecosystem that modulates the ecosystem structure. Without autotrophs, there would be no energy available to all other organisms that lacks the capability of fixing the light energy. So, according to the first law of thermodynamics, the energy can be converted from one form to another, but it cannot be created nor destroyed. So, energy flow is a unidirectional flow. That is, we cannot create or destroy the energy. It can only be converted from one form to another. This is according to the first law of thermodynamics. Now coming to the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics, it states that the transformation of energy always results in some loss or dissipation of energy. Means the efficiency is never 100%. So when the energy moves from one trophic level to another, there is a loss of energy. That is according to the second law of thermodynamics. So the energy exchanges in the closed system, the potential energy of the final state will be less than the initial state. So this is how we can depict the flow of energy in the ecosystem. In this figure, we can say the energy from the sun, it comes as the solar energy that is received by the green plants, that is the producers. They will receive a huge amount of energy, but when they receive this energy, maximum energy is lost as heat. Some energy is used by the plants for photosynthesis and they create the food, but this energy is also consumed by the plants during the process of respiration. So as a result of which we will see that there is a loss of energy at each and every level. Then the food is consumed by the herbivores. As you know, whole of the food is not consumed by the herbivores. Some is not consumed, that will formed not utilized energy, and then the food is, when consumed by the herbivores, they will lose the energy in the form of respiration also. They will produce waste material also during their metabolic processes also. maintenance also they will use the energy, and as a result of which, when this energy moves from the herbivores, very less amount of energy is transferred to the next level, that is the carnivores. Similarly, in the carnivores too, the energy it is consumed to maintain their life processes, for respiration, as well as whole of the energy in the herbivores is not consumed, some is lost. So in this way we can say, when the energy it moves from the producers to the carnivorous, they follow 10% law. That is, only 10% of the energy it moves to the next trophic level. 90% of the energy is either dissipated as heat, or it is used in respiration, or it is used in performing various metabolic processes. So this is how the odom it depicts the flow of energy in the ecosystem. So there is one way, you can say a street along which the energy it moves. It is unidirectional flow of energy. The energy that is captured by the autotrophs does not revert back to the solar inputs, and which passes to the herbivorous does not passes back to the autotrophs. So the progressive decrease in energy level at each trophic level is there. This is accounted largely by the energy dissipated as heat in the metabolic actions and the respiration. So the boxes they represents the trophic level, and the pipes they depict the energy flow in the ecosystem. So the energy inflow balance the outflow as required by the first law of thermodynamics. That is 3000 kilocalories of total light falling on the ecosystem. 1500 kilocalories is absorbed by the primary producers, and is 15 kilocalories and is then moved to the secondary producers. So a very important thing is, very less amount of energy is moved to the next trophic level. So here 10% law of energy flow is seen. It is given by Lindemann, which states that during the transfer of energy from one trophic level to a second trophic level, only 10% is conserved, rest is dissipated. Now coming to the Y-shaped model of the energy flow. In the Y-shaped model of energy flow, because in the ecosystem there is a complex chain of the producers, consumers, and the detrivores, the decomposers, they are also there in the ecosystem. So the Y-shaped energy model, it depicts that from the solar energy, the energy it is moved to the producers. From the producer it is moved to the herbivores, to the carnivores, and the top carnivores. And at each and every level, the energy it moves to the sink through the respiration. That is, from the producers, herbivores, carnivores, as well as the top carnivores, the energy it moves to the sink through the respiration. Then some of the energy is not utilized. That energy at each and every trophic level, it goes out as export. Then coming to the energy which is removed through each and every trophic level through the fecal matter. The fecal matter, it along with the unutilized sources of the food material, that is consumed, that is collected, and it's consumed by the decomposers. The decomposers, like that of bacteria, fungi, they will consume, they will feed on it, and this energy it moves to the detritus food chain. From one trophic level to the another, again it follows the 10% law. Some of the energy it is dissipated, and some of the energy it goes out through respiration at each and every trophic level. So this will make the energy flow system Y-shaped because of the association between the grazing food chain and the detritus food chain. This is known as the Y-shaped energy model. So the ecosystem is, because it is very complex, the system is not as simple as it appears to be. So Y-shaped energy model, it was also given by the Odom, and it includes two important chains. One is the grazing food chain, second is the detritus food chain. So the Odom, it regarded the model as more realistic than the single channel energy flow model because of the following reason. It conforms to the basic stratified structure of the ecosystem, which includes both grazing and the detritus pathway. Then it separates the grazing food chain from the detritus food chain in both time and space, and shows by direct consumption of the living plants and utilization of dead organic matter respectively. Then the macro consumers, the animals, and the micro consumers, that is the bacteria and fungi, they differ greatly in size and metabolic reaction. That all is depicted in the Y-shaped model. Then next is the universal energy flow model. Then Odom, it gave the universal energy flow model, which represents the basis for the general explanation of ecosystem trophic flow. The model can be applied to any living component, whether it is plant, animal, microorganism, individual, population, or the trophic group. Such a model may depict food chain as already shown in previous models, or the bioenergetics of the entire ecosystem. In this figure, the living structure or the biomass of the component is represented as the shaded box. Further, the ingested energy, which is the solar radiation in the case of the autotrophs, and ingested food in the case of the heterotrophs, is represented by capital I. Since not all the energy supplied is utilized, the lost part is called the energy not utilized, that is the NU. So we have seen that the I, it enters into any living system, then some energy is not utilized, as a result of which the pipe, it becomes narrow after NU, right? The assimilated energy, that is A, is also shown as the gross production. Then the respiration is there, that leads to the release of energy, and further the pipe, it becomes shorter or smaller, and this is represented by the P, and then it will move out of that very system. So this is regarding, this is there, the universal energy flow model, it is there for the straight chain as well as for the Y-shaped chain. So the part of A is used for system structure manufacture, and is the respiration, and the other part of the transformed into the organic matter, that is P, known as the production. P is the energy available for the other individual or the trophic level. So individual uses part of the net production for growth, or in the case of the population or trophic level, for biomass accumulation. The part of the net production can be stored to at individual level in the form of organic compound in higher energetics content, that is maybe the lipids or the proteins, and at the ecosystem level as nutrients deposit or detritus. Some production can be excreted by the individual and analogous exported from the ecosystem. So the universal energy flow can be used in two ways. The model can represent a species population, in which case the appropriate energy inputs and links with other species would be shown as a conventional species oriented food web diagram, or the model can represent a discrete energy level, in which case the biomass and energy channels, they represent all or part of many population supported by the same energy sources. So energy partnering between P and R is of vital importance to the individual as well as the species. Different organism has different pattern of energy consumption. Large organism require more maintenance energy than the smaller one. The warm-blooded animals, for example, birds and mammals, they require more energy than the cold-blooded animals. The predators use large amount of assimilated energy in respiration than the herbivores. To find and overcoming the prey, the species adapted to unstable, recently derived or underpopulation area. Generally, they allocate a large portion of their energy for reproduction. The species adapted to stable and more favorable habitats allocate little energy to the reproduction. So conclusion of flow of energy is the ultimate source of energy in all ecosystem is the sun. From the sun, the energy is captured by the green plants. From the green plants, it moves to the consumers, the herbivores and the carnivores. So at each and every trophic level, there is a loss of energy in the form of respiration, in the form of metabolism, and only 10% of the energy it moves to the next trophic level, which is according to the 10% law given by the Lindemann, and 90% of the energy is dissipated. So the energy flow model links the trophic level with each other, showing the inputs and the losses of energy at each trophic level. The flow of energy in the ecosystem taken place through the food chain and is the energy flow which keeps the ecosystem going. The most common feature of this energy flow is that it is unidirectional and single flow channel is shown by it. The single flow channel energy model, it depicts the flow of energy is unidirectional and non-cyclic, and at each trophic level it decreases. The energy it decreases, and in the double channel or the Y-shaped channel, here we'll see that there is association between the grazing food chain and the detritus food chain, and it is more realistic because in nature both grazing and detritus food chain are interconnected in same ecosystem. So for example, the dead bodies of the small animals that were once the part of grazing food chain becomes incorporated into the detritus food chain as do the fecal matter of the grazing food animals. So universal energy flow model, it represents the basis for the general explanation of ecosystem trophic level. The model can be applied to any living component, whether it is a plant or it is an animal or microorganism or a population or any trophic group. So ecological efficiency can be defined as the product of efficiency in which the organisms they utilize their food resources and convert them into the biomass to the next higher trophic level. This is how the energy flow is depicted in the ecosystem. I hope the concept is clear. Thank you.